It's sort of an image of a lion and its prey. The prey is running away from lion but get caught and get eaten up. That's natural. Doesn't have to be lion, could be fish, tree, anything. In nature, that's what it is. No argument. In human life, we go through life and death, but also, for example, in the business setting, there's a life and death of a company. Or your job in a company may be in danger. Anything can happen. So the situation is pretty much the same, or at least similar. One difference is that we use our brain and we can think of the way to get away or find a new opportunity. But eventually, it's not going to work if it comes to the death, as in the case of lion or the fish or trees, because we're going to be dying. It's just a matter of whether or not we can extend our life and enjoy in the time being while we are alive if we use our mind or the brain. There's a saying, this is from China, it says, do the best as the human can and wait for temme, the order from heaven. We have ability to deal with the situation. So we are chased by the lion, we may find a way to fight against, and that's how it happened in the evolution of human mind, of human species. So over time, we managed the way to evolve and use our brain better. But still, everything is impermanent. There's a time that you cannot go any further. Or let's say if you're successful, but you cannot keep on being successful. Or you can say you can accumulate wealth and then you start to decline from there, to find a way to use the wealth to contribute to the society or enjoy your life. Everything has an end. And in each process of what we do in our life, like I mentioned about the quote, do your best as human, and after that, wait for the verdict from the heaven. I was thinking about Saichi and Amida Buddha for compassion. When you are toward the end of your life, like in my case, I'm 74, you don't want to get into the difficult situation. You want to have a peaceful ending instead of fighting the lion, if you can avoid it. Instead of the lion, it could be a business situation, investment, human relationship, anything. As much as the cat or some animals find a way to die peacefully at certain location, there's their instinct that they do that. And I believe in our DNA we have the same. So toward the end of your life, we should be extra cautious to avoid unnecessary danger. I have one unnecessary danger right now. I'm not going to go into detail, but something related to investment, we can call that. And even if this fails, I'll be fine financially. So if I follow those analogies and examples, the best choice is not to be dealing with it. Because if you deal with the potential danger and unknown ups and downs, you get caught up in that battle. While you could have spent your time peacefully utilizing whatever I've got in the manner that would suit the lived life. So at the end, it's a judgment. So here is the human potential and the skills that need to be utilized the best I can. Unnecessary trouble, assessment of that, I should avoid it the best I can, humanly possible. So that's the basic conclusion I came, in a broader sense, to capture the essence of it, to deal with the situation I have. Toward the end of your life, you don't want to be disturbed. But if you can, you should utilize your best talent the best way possible. I think that's the difference between Saichi and Konosuke Matsushita. Saichi has gone through difficulties to live his life. You can see it from his poem, and found the savior in Amida Buddha, or God. Doesn't matter whether it's Shin Buddhism or Christianity. God or Amida represent the source of compassion, and for Saichi to give himself up for Amida's boat to save him, he found the peace. And I can relate to that. So very stimulating, and being able to relate to that is already something I find it wonderful. But I can also listen to Matsushita. Toward his end, he left the company, he found it, and he came back and still kept on contributing whatever he can. So those are the judgmental situations we'll fall into. Not necessarily in later in your life, but could be early in your life. To address the situation we get, my view is to have different reference point or model, if you can think of that way, so that you can pick and choose, so to speak, like a portfolio. More reference you have, more assessment you can develop, more opportunities you can find. That's what I mentioned. Do your thing as human, which you can, to find the wisdom. But if the situation is inevitable and as a result of such assessment, consume too much energy and the chance of success is low, using the human judgment because that's all we got, then you let the rest to be taken care by Amida Buddha or God. There's a saying, man's extremity is God's opportunity. I think that corresponds to the saying of, you do your best as human and the rest to be taken care by the order of heaven or by the God That's the framework. More we have practiced to use these models and ideas and learn the lessons to accumulate experience base and the skills to deal with it, the better we can. Still, the end is the same. But we can do with what we've got. So we may. The choice is for each of us. And I'm finding the way to think about moving forward. And this recording just to confirm the passage. The human way may be described as different scenarios, like developing the strategy, and the pros and cons, the percentage success. You develop that. You develop that with your background, experience base, but talking with others, friends, and so forth. And do so much. And then you come to the point. Then the solution would come from the heaven, the order from heaven. So, if I repeat, the first one I mentioned was do humanly possible and wait for the order from heaven. The second one is man's extremity is God's opportunity. Thank you.